Hey everyone, this is Carbonite once again, bringing you another standard match, and today we do have something a little bit more special than usual. As you can see, this is going to be another collaboration with Bok to Bok Gaming. So I actually recorded this quite a while ago, and we met each other in the tournament or locals I should say, and we decided to record the match, even though it was, as you can see, a Welstra mirror. So this will definitely be a very interesting match, and I hope you guys enjoy. So I guess going into the deck Welstra, there's only one deck to talk about. I didn't really play it too much. I played it a fair amount, and quick note, this is before the dog promo came out, so obviously you're going to be seeing us play it without it. It's not just because we don't have it, it's because it wasn't even out at the time of this recording. So getting into Welstra, I think it is definitely it was a put together deck. I guess that's the best I can really say about it. There's a lot of good things, and that one grade 2 that we just got in set 9 definitely kind of brings the whole deck together and lets it actually do what the deck is supposed to do. But in all honesty, even with all these just like really good cards, I don't think that it's the greatest deck. I know people say it's kind of fun, and it's a little bit of fun. There's a lot of unique things that Welstra does that a lot of other decks don't really do, but in all honesty, I don't think it's the meta threat that people are really giving it all the credit for. Maybe I'm just playing the deck wrong. Maybe me and all my friends are just terrible at it. But in my experience, I've easily won against the deck. It's not that hard to play around, and it just doesn't feel as good as you might think that it does. Like, if you're inexperienced and you don't really know what it does, it can kind of feel a little bit broken. But in all honesty, as you're going to be seeing in this video, not a whole lot goes on, and we're going to be seeing some of the big problems I have with Welstra. Anyways, I guess we can finally get into the match, because up until now it's really just been a bunch of swing pass. We're seeing the ride line go off. When you ride over the grade 1, you get the grade 1 order, and then the grade 2 order can actually operate that order, which lets you retire something. But if you don't retire, you get to cycle instead. And then of course when you ride into the grade 3, you get to pitch the grade 1 and actually get into a grade 2 order, which most of the time will be the first grade 2 order. But in the cases that you have the fright height or whatever his name is, you really just don't need it. So using the fright height skill here, using that counterblast and discarding 1 in order to search out another copy of Persona Ride, which is definitely something that the deck has going for it. You can actually just search out Persona Ride. I mean, technically any Bronc Gate deck can do that, but you do have the extra benefit of playing that grade 3 order, which is something you really needed, because before this, before Fright Height, you really didn't have a way to put it into the order zone until you Persona Ride, assuming you did Persona Ride. But as we're going to be seeing here, we are going to get the grade 3 off on the very first turn, going into a pretty classic play for Welstra, where you call out the Freiheit, calling a Bubble Mine behind it, Soul Blasting 2 to actually operate that grade 3 order, minusing the 5k to the Vanguard, and actually, well, obviously we wouldn't use a skill, but when we swing with the Vanguard, we use the skill once again to minus another 500, and actually counterblasting 1, we do bounce back the Freiheit and call out the order card as a 23k beater. So definitely something really interesting that Welstra is doing there, getting multi-attacks, 4 to 5 attacks every single turn, and also minusing your opponent, so making it very hard to guard. But if you're a good player, you can honestly just guard early and make it so that a lot of these stronger attacks, even though you're at low, you can kind of just tank them, because no matter how high the power is, if you can take the damage, you can take the damage. If it's just 1 damage, it's just 1 damage. Anyways, we are seeing Matt just going into a very familiar play here, you know, riding into the grade 3. What do we do? We don't really do anything with the order. We call out a Freiheit, we search out, I think we actually search out the grade 3 there, and then put it into the order zone. And we're going to be seeing a Bowl Mine come out. So, very, very familiar play. Kind of exactly what I just did last turn. Anyways, we are going to be seeing the exact same play here, using the Soul Blast 2 to -5 to my Vanguard, giving his Vanguard an extra 5k, which is another thing that I don't think I noted before, that every time you operate something, your Vanguard does actually get an extra 5k. So most of the time you are going to be getting that double 5k, so at least plus 10k, so you're always doing 23 or 33 when you're on Persona Ride, which is something that is very easy to do with this deck, since obviously you can search out your Persona Ride, as I'm going to be doing right here. We saw me search it out last turn, and I'm just going to be starting off with that Persona Ride, calling out that Fright Height that we did see last turn, discarding a Tectan in order to search out another Persona Ride, because we did see me drive check that grade 3 order last turn, meaning that I will be able to play it, and given the fact that I have enough counterblast, I can actually go for the 5 attacks this turn under the Persona Ride. But unfortunately, we did actually see a heal trigger coming out from Matt, so he healed down to 2, meaning that even though I can attack 5 times, it's not going to be as deadly as, you know, it could be. But anyways, we are going to be seeing the Tectan triggered. I believe I do actually hit a grade 2 orders. We're going to be putting that in the order zone. Another good card, I will admit. You basically, when you play it, you get to draw one and then soul charge one. So obviously the soul charge allows you to, or facilitates the Fright Height, and the draw is also very nice. And here's another interesting thing that that Welstra can do, where you call down your Persona Rides, and it doesn't really matter because you can actually just bounce them back to your hand. So it's pretty cool that you can actually do that. But we are seeing a little bit of the problem, which we will be seeing in a bit, where I'm hesitating on whether I want to actually go for that 5th attack, because as you can see, that is my last counter blast. So if I do actually commit it this turn, it means that next turn I will only have the 1 CB, so I would only be able to do 4 attacks anyway. And given the current board state, him being, or Matt still being at 2 damage, I think that I would want to save that push turn for when we're a little bit higher damage, so that the turn is a little bit more impactful. But of course, we are actually going to be seeing me get a little bit punished by that, thanks to the other effect of the grade 3 order, which we really haven't been seeing too much, because as you can tell, we've been basically clearing our entire boards at the end of each turn, which I will say is another good thing about Welstra. You can just call out a call out a board and then just basically clear yourself. So maybe a little bit of counterplay to Gandiva when we get that in set 10. But at the same time, you are seeing the downside of that. It's not like something like Maelstrom, where you can effectively clear your board. You call out multiple inlets and you basically put them back into soul and you get plus off that. But we are seeing the Fright Height from Matt coming in using the order skill, and it does actually have a retire slapped upon it, which is one of the reasons I think people said that it was really good against like Chronojet, because you do have a lot of retire. But honestly, it's less, you can easily wipe a board. You can retire like 2 rear guards in a single turn, but I don't think it's enough, in all honesty. We are seeing a double trigger here, so a 53 at my 3, which is just going to be hit for a PG. Clearly something that we want to be doing. Anyways, Persona Riding again, so we are Matt is only at 3, but unfortunately I was not able to take a damage there because of that critical trigger, because I would have died. There was probably an argument to me taking maybe the Fright Height, the first attack, in order to just guarantee that easy damage, but at the same time, being able to guard like that is very, very tempting when you want to be able to save those PGs. So far, because if Matt hadn't gotten a critical trigger there, I would have actually been able to save that PG and maybe outlast a little bit longer. But given the given what I'm about to be calling here, a critical trigger and a Bulbul Mine, we are going to be seeing me not able to do as much as I could. Unfortunately, hitting into another defensive trigger there. And that Bulbul Mine does actually technically allow us to extend a little bit further, but as we can see, I really don't have anything else to call to the other column, meaning that also because I lost my Fright Height during the last turn, I'm not really able to do those multiple operations and do that multi-attack, because if you want to do your 5 attacks, you do technically need at least 1 Fright Height in order to bounce back. And no, you'd only need at least 1, but if you have 2, it's like so much better. But we are seeing the power of actually being able to recycle those Freiheits and have multiples, not just bouncing them back, but actually drawing into more, because Matt is definitely going to have a much stronger turn than me here, even though we are actually only committing one card. Again, probably a pretty good play, because we do know that Welstra has a lot of retire, swinging with a pretty basic play with the Welstra, swinging in, obviously bouncing the Freiheit once again, and then swinging in the what's that called, the grade 3 order. But now I'm going into this turn. Unfortunately, I've finally run out of Persona Rides. I did Persona Ride 2 turns in a row, and I am also running pretty low on deck after activating that grade 2 order. So at this point, I am looking like there's not really a lot I can do to win this match. However, I noticed that I have only, I think that's 4 or 5 cards left in deck. So what I'm going to do is, my OT is actually not out yet, but you can see obviously Matt's OT is out. We did see it hit in as a defensive quite a while ago, but I do have, what is that, like 3 or 4 cards. I guess we'll see in a moment. I am going to be using this little fox girl. She lets you counterblast 1 and operate something during the main phase. Yeah, that's 4 cards. So my game plan here is to actually just hit that OT, call out a full board, and hope that I can swing for 2 damage on all of my swings, and then hopefully that will be enough to actually close out this match. But my win condition at this point is just hitting OT, because I have about a 50-50 chance of hitting it. And I do have those 4 cards in deck, so even if I do hit it, as long as I don't hit like a draw, I should be more than fine with at least 1 card left in deck. So we are going to be swinging. I think, honestly, we should probably swing the Vanguard first, because if OT is our win condition, we should probably just go for that, bait out that PG, and then stack the 100 million onto something else. In all honesty, there was really no reason to swing with the Freiheit here, since, you know, OT is your win con here. But obviously, it's just kind of ingrained in your brain to always swing the Freiheit first. But we are going to be doing that. Actually giving 2k, which I don't think matters, because that's a 9, 11. Yeah, no, actually 2k does not matter in the least. But we are going to be swinging the Welstra. Oh, this is probably why I wanted to do it. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. That I wanted to actually bounce the Freiheit, because I did have the extra CB, but we are going to be seeing me check a heal trigger instead of that over trigger. So actually not going to be able to do very much. 2 cards left in deck. One of them is going to be OT. So if I draw into OT, then I can live 1 more turn. But if I take a single damage, and that's OT, I just lose instantly. But even if I take a single damage, I kind of just lose. So I kind of have to just swing my last couple of swings here. We do see the second PG, so OT maybe not exactly the kind of win condition that it would have been, because I think even if we did hit OT there, unless we called our board out a little bit differently, we probably didn't have the match there, because we can clearly see a lot more shield value in hand. Definitely more than enough to actually guard even like a 10k trigger with double damage. So this is probably just going to be it. I only have 2 cards in deck. Might as well just guard that, swinging the Vanguard, bouncing back and retiring my last rear guard. Maybe I can guard this. I don't know what I have in hand, but it doesn't really matter. We're going to be swinging, getting a critical trigger, hitting that OT there, missed it by 1 card, drawing the last card in deck, and decking ourselves out before we go to 6. So definitely a fun match. Thanks to Matt from Box to Box Gaming for being in this video, even though it's pretty late. And don't forget to do all those YouTube things, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.